Who doesn't like gossip? Like we are going to have a gossip session here today? What do you people think? Sorry, we ain't. Heard of Cale Makar? Raise your hands if you are a fan of his. A question to every fan of his bout there. How much do you know about him? See, you are questioning your fanship, aren't you? Don't worry, we are here to help you with the little of the weirdest things that you didn't know about Cale Makar. To begin with, who is Cale Makar? Cale Douglas Makar, a magnificent Canadian professional ice hockey defenseman. He plays for the Colorado Avalanche of the NHL, one of the precious players holded by the Avalanche, and he was selected through the process of taking the 4th overall pick in the year of 2017 NHL entry draft. Starting with his career, he had his debut after his 2 sessions in the NCAA with the UMass Minutemen in the 2019-20 season. This hit his first victory as a rookie with an impeccable winning of Calder Memorial Trophy. Later, when he was nominated for the James Norris Memorial Trophy, followed by winning the Norris in the following 2021-22 season. To this victory list, he also added Stanley Cup with the Avalanche in 2022 and the Conn Smythe Trophy with the title as the most valuable player in the 2022 playoffs. Best known as one If the Nest defenseman and best players in the new and modern NHL. Makar had also played for the Team Canada with a winning of gold in the year's 2018's World Junior Championships. Following all these championships, Makar had turned an invite to join the Canadian senior team for the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. He had made this sacrifice only to focus on his season at UMass. Going deep into his personal details, Makar is the son of Gary Makar and Laura McGregor. They name him after Cale Hulse, indeed a NHL player. He has his roots from his family itself, as you can see that Makar's cousin Mark Logan and his brother also played hockey. Tom Lisiak is his father's cousin. He was always a fan of the hometown Calgary Flames. Now for real, let's get started. The finest and first is the fact that he dreamed of becoming an engineer. So once he wanted to be an engineer, and this lasted until he was 10 years old. Why did he chose this career option? Because he liked things involving creativity, drawing, science, and math. What can we say? As usual, by 10 years, he had to join the academy and got involved in hockey. As a minor, he had his first play with Crowchild Blackhawks minor hockey program, but that didn't stop him. He moved on to the next level, which is the Bantam level, in 2011. At this time, he was about 13 years old. The next fact is that not just Makar but also his whole family is engaged in playing hockey. He has a brother 3 years younger than him, Taylor, who had also played in Crowchild MHA. Brooks Bandits, Makar's AJHL team as well. Like his brother, Taylor is always waving towards his UMass for the next season. Next fact is that Makar was the finest of the players who had his career. He had the best set of opportunities around him. This guy had events within the short span of time like any others. He had the best kickstart of all time. He was even awarded with Hobey Baker Award, and the very next day, he leaded the college team as their captain, the University of Massachusetts hockey team, to their first ever national title game. For everyone there is a weakness. For a player, he has to undergo many diet policies which essentially essential and needed criteria. For the same people would make impulsive decisions. For his cheat day, he opted for having sugared milk called Slurpee. This goes for him as well. When he was asked about his first impulsive thing he had done, it was nothing but buying a Slurpee for himself, because he is a fan of this sugary milk. And that too, he bought it prior to signing his first 3-year entry-level deal. Aren't you called out with nicknames? If you have nicknames, let us know in the comments. Like everyone else, Cale Makar has his nickname as well. Cale Makar is of Ukrainian descent from his father, and which is how he got his exotic name, like the one you may hear in Slavic countries. In fact, he had numerous names, mostly because of his fans, as they concentrated on capturing different names for him. While on an interview, when he was asked his nickname, he replied, "Healthy mix of juice." It was also identified his teammates used to call him Cale Salad. The next fact is about the people who trained him. For the same, he replied with Eric Johnson's name, as he says that Eric was the best of all whom he had called the blue line of all seasons. Also, he added that Gabriel Landeskog is one of the people who took him under his wings from the very first day. For the information, Landeskog even drove him to his feet and sober NHL games. He also has the admiration of Nathan MacKinnon, admired him like he is only and the most competitive person one could ever find. The popular question these days is, how did he spend his quarantine? Or else, with whom did he had quarantine? For the same, he had the most funniest and cutest response, which was, food and dog was indeed good. Tyson Yost and Cale live in the same apartment complex, so maybe they might have had mealtime together and cooking with each other. This would be indeed less lonely. Cale, in fact, is a private person, and Tyson, who would cook, which he shared with J.T. Comfer and Alexander Kerfoot. So that means they too can get in some of the other's food. The next weird thing is about his favorite old movie. To this he answered, without taking any pause, that the answer is Back to the Future. It was happened to see that Cale Makar was standing in front of an old movie poster for the film that he likes. The other fact is that he is good with scents. He just loves scents. He keeps going on to the madness. Connecting to the same, here we have the color he would choose for anything. Also, he has to say that he would always choose yellow as themselves. For a yellow lover like him, it suits Cale. Hopefully take the necessary and most appropriate features of yellow as a color. Now let's consider how well Makar took the question in. For all the interviews he had given, he made sure to spill the necessary details for his fans. Spilling the tea unusually and unnecessarily isn't his thing. Though he is known for his way of answering the questions diligently, this young man was once floored with a question during the media tour last summer. The question was, what would be the 3 questions that he would ask his pet? This question made him go shallow. For a thought, it was something triggering for him, we guess. Final destination, as did he engage in any of the TikTok challenges? Don't be doubtful, maybe he did. The next fact is how passionate he is about dancing. For everyone who wonders, like does this guy runs the train? The way Makar responded was hilarious. He have now these days had joined some academy or something. That same thing was doubtful, as you may know, shout the TikTok season era. There are people who believes the same. During anyone who tries to calm the situation, he knew he was dying, and he can't escape. So for the improvements, he joined the academy. About the reading fact of himself. He was even asked about his good looks, the way he carries himself. So who does these? Can you suggest me those? He answered, the pursuit of perfection. It's not that Cale gets his commission, but just book. The Colorado Avalanche have a leader in Cale Makar. With this, hopefully you know who is actually Cale Makar is. What was his life before and after joining the club? For the same, he worked harder than one could imagine and still remains in the hearts of people. Let us know in the comments that if you are impressed by this video. Hit on the like button and subscribe to this channel.